In the world of AI, it's so easy to get completely caught up in the hype. I mean, every single day there's a new model, some new demo that promises to change absolutely everything. But what if the real secret to building truly transformative AI has nothing to do with chasing the latest, flashiest trend? Okay, let's dive into that and figure out how to build AI systems that have real, lasting value.
We hear this all the time, don't we? It's this idea that's everywhere, this dominant belief that success in AI is just a simple arms race, right? Whoever builds the biggest, most powerful model with the most parameters is crowned the winner. It's a really simple, really compelling story.
But what if that entire premise, the one that's driving billions in investment and countless hours of work, what if it's a total misunderstanding of what makes an AI system actually intelligent? And more importantly, useful in the real world?
This is the big idea, the crucial shift in thinking. Enduring AI isn't about one single brilliant model. It's about the entire system, the whole architecture that surrounds and supports that model. This is where we start to separate the stuff that's just fleeting hype from the foundational tech that's built to last.
So you've got this myth, right? This model-centric view. It sees AI as some kind of magical black box, a standalone algorithm where you just pump in data and poof, you get an answer. But the reality is so much more interesting. The system-centric view gets that the model is just one piece of a much larger, interconnected ecosystem.
Here's a great way to picture it. Think of an AI system as a living organism. The model itself, that's the brain. And yeah, it's incredibly powerful, capable of these amazing feats of logic and creativity. But a brain can't do anything on its own, right? It needs a body, a whole support system to actually function and have any kind of impact on the world.
So let's break down that body. First, you've got the data pipelines. Think of these as the arteries, constantly pumping clean, high-quality information to the brain. Then you have the robust infrastructure. That's the skeleton, giving it the structure and the raw, scalable computing power it needs. And finally, the continuous learning loops. That's the nervous system. It lets the model feel and adapt based on feedback. Kind of like how an e-commerce site gets better at recommendations every single time you click. Without all these parts working together, even the smartest brain on the planet is basically useless. Okay, so a functioning body isn't enough. For an AI to be truly durable, to actually last, it also needs something like a conscience. And way too often, these layers, ethics, transparency, they're treated like an afterthought, something you can just bolt on at the end. But for a system to be sustainable and trustworthy, these have to be baked into its DNA right from day one. And it really boils down to three core questions. First, is it fair? Think about a hiring AI. Is it accidentally screening out amazing candidates because of some hidden bias buried deep in the training data? Then, is it clear? If you have a financial AI, can regulators actually see how it makes decisions to make sure it's compliant? And finally, is it understandable? If a medical AI diagnoses a condition, the doctor needs to know why it thinks that so they can make an informed decision, not just blindly trust some algorithm. And look, this isn't just about doing the right thing. It's a huge strategic advantage. Building these layers in from the very start is how you avoid those massive public scandals, how you reduce crippling legal risks, and maybe most important of all, how you build trust with the people who will actually use your technology. If you skip this part, you're pretty much building a time bomb. All right, so the theory makes sense, right? It's all about the system and the ethics. But how do you actually build it? Let's get into the practical, step-by-step blueprint for creating AI that can really stand the test of time. You don't try to boil the ocean, you start small. You find one high-impact, data-rich problem, and you build a tiny prototype, a minimum viable product, just to test your assumptions. Then you iterate, constantly. Think about Netflix. They didn't launch a global streaming empire on day one. They started with a simple little algorithm for recommending DVDs in the mail, and they just iterated relentlessly. You start small, but you always think big, planning for how you're going to scale to 10x the volume when you hit it big. And of course, success hinges on the people. A team of only data scientists is going to have massive blind spots. You need that mix of skills. You need software engineers for the architecture, ethicists to ask the tough questions, domain experts, like say a farmer for an agricultural AI, to provide real-world context, and UX designers to make the whole thing actually usable for a human being. Diversity of thought isn't a bug here. It's a core feature of a successful project. The ultimate goal here is a really powerful concept called anti-fragility. Now, resilience is about surviving a punch, but anti-fragility, that's about getting stronger from the punch.
A truly durable AI system doesn't just withstand change, it actually learns from disruptions, like a sudden shift in consumer behavior, and it adapts to become even more effective than it was before.
So, where is all this going? The future of AI isn't something that just happens to us. No, it's being actively built right now, and every single one of us has a role to play in shaping where it goes next.
And the path forward is pretty clear. We're moving from today's narrow AI, the kind that's great at one specific task like recognizing images, and we're heading towards more generalized systems that can handle all sorts of data at once. Text, images, audio, you name it. But the real horizon, the ultimate destination, is collaborative. It's a future built on open source tools, global partnerships, and shared principles that make sure AI's benefits are available to everyone. At the end of the day, this is about a fundamental shift in our mindset. Building great AI isn't just a technical challenge to create something smart. It's a humanistic challenge to build something wise, a system that not only delivers value, but also upholds our values.
And this is where you come in. Whether you're a developer, a business leader, or just someone who's curious about all this, you have a role. You can contribute to open source projects. You can be the person in your organization who prioritizes ethics. You can advocate for transparent, smart policies. And most of all, you can just engage critically and make a commitment to never stop learning in this crazy, fast-moving field.
Because the future isn't some far-off abstract thing. It's being coded and designed and deployed right now, as we speak. The principles are clear, the blueprint is here. So the only question that's left is, what will you build?